To be well off is to be rich.
The old man is well off.
The actor is well off.
Bankers are well off.
Professional golfers are well off.
The queen is well off.
The widow isn't well off.
His servants aren't well off.
Bank clerks aren't well off.
Their caddies aren't well off.
Her maid isn't well off. To be in the way is to be an unnecessary bother or to be blocking the view.
You're in front of the TV. You're in the way.
Sharon's mother is busy. Sharon is in the way. He's in my chair. He's in the way.
The chair is in the doorway. It's in the way.
The dog is at my feet. It's in the way.
He's beside the TV. He isn't in the way.
Her little brother is in the crib. He isn't in the way.
He's behind the chair. He isn't in the way.
It's beside the door. It isn't in the way.
It's in the doghouse. It isn't in the way.
To be better off is to be happier or in a better physical state.
The children are happy with their mother. They're better off at home.
A sick person is better off at home.
A fat person is better off with exercise.
A bored person is better off with a hobby.
Animals are better off free.
They're sad at the nursery. They aren't better off at the nursery.
He isn't better off at work.
He isn't better off in front of the TV.
She isn't better off asleep.
It isn't better off in a cage. To be in charge of is to manage or to administer.
A captain is in charge of a ship.
A general is in charge of an army.
A manager is in charge of a factory.
A principal is in charge of a school.
An accountant is in charge of the accounts.
The ship's steward isn't in charge of the ship. He's in charge of the money.
A sergeant isn't in charge of an army. He's in charge of training.
A foreman isn't in charge of the factory. He's in charge of the workers.
A teacher isn't in charge of the school. She's in charge of the classroom.
A cashier isn't in charge of the accounts. He's in charge of the cash register. To be named after is to have the same name.
His name is Peter. His father's name is Peter. He's named after his father.
John is named after his uncle.
Jane is named after her mother.
Susan is named after her godmother.
Elizabeth is named after a queen.
Ronald isn't named after his father. He's named after a president.
Fernando isn't named after his uncle. He's named after a baseball player.
Brooke isn't named after her mother. She's named after an actress.
Margaret isn't named after a queen. She's named after a prime minister.
Grace isn't named after her godmother. She's named after a princess. To be cut out to be is to be apt.
Her fingers are long. She's musical. She's cut out to be a pianist.
He's curious. He's intelligent. He's cut out to be a scientist.
She's kind to children. She's cut out to be a mother.
You're good in the kitchen. You're cut out to be a cook.
He's interested in cars. He's cut out to be a mechanic.
Her voice is terrible. She isn't cut out to be a singer.
He's afraid of animals. He isn't cut out to be a biologist.
He's mean to children. He isn't cut out to be a father.
You're clumsy with dishes. You aren't cut out to be a waiter.
He's a bad driver. He isn't cut out to be a racer. To be becoming is to be attractive.
She's pretty in the green dress. The green dress is becoming to her.
White is becoming to a child.
Vertical stripes are becoming to a fat person.
Blue is becoming to a redhead.
Long skirts are becoming to old ladies.
The purple dress isn't becoming to her.
Black isn't becoming to a child.
Horizontal stripes aren't becoming to a fat person.
Red isn't becoming to a redhead.
Miniskirts aren't becoming to old ladies. To be bound for is to be on the way to.
He's on vacation. He's bound for the beach.
He's 18 years old. He's bound for the university.
I'm a racer. I'm bound for the track.
She's in the car. She's bound for the country.
They're on the ship. They're bound for Europe.
He's at the bus stop. He isn't bound for the beach. He's bound for the swimming pool.
He's 6 years old. He isn't bound for the university. He's bound for the elementary school.
He's a skier. He isn't bound for the track. He's bound for the ski lodge.
She's on the bus. She isn't bound for the country. She's bound for downtown.
They're on the plane. They aren't bound for Europe. They're bound for China. To be a steal is to be cheap.
The sweater is $5. It's a steal.
Corn is 30 cents an ear. It's a steal.
The dress is $15. It's a steal.
The radio is $10. It's a steal.
The camera is $8. It's a steal.
The coat is $500. It isn't a steal.
Tomatoes are $3 a pound. They aren't a steal.
The skirt is $100. It isn't a steal.
The TV set is $900. It isn't a steal.
The watch is $300. It isn't a steal. To put on is to dress or to apply.
She puts on her clothes at 7 o'clock in the morning.
She puts on her makeup in front of the mirror.
He puts on his boots at the door.
He puts on his scarf in the winter.
They put on their bathing suits in the locker room.
He puts on his glasses before breakfast.
He puts on his tie in front of the mirror.
She puts on her coat at the door.
They put on their robes at the poolside.
He puts on shorts in the summer. To put on is to produce or to organize.
His class puts on a play every year.
The artist puts on an exhibition at the art gallery.
The dance school puts on a recital every spring.
The store puts on a fashion show twice a year.
The dolphins put on a show at Marineland.
The kindergarten puts on a program every year.
The farmers put on an exhibition at the fair.
The music school puts on a recital every summer.
The committee puts on a beauty contest once a year.
The dogs put on a show in the circus. To put away is to put in place.
They put their toys away at night.
She puts the skirt away in the closet.
He puts the papers away in the desk.
She puts the milk away in the refrigerator.
I put the duster away on the hook.
They put their notebooks away in the satchels.
She puts the sweaters away in the drawer.
He puts his checkbook away in his pocket.
He puts the bread away in the bread box. I put the broom and the mop away in the closet.
To put off is to postpone.
She puts off housework until morning.
He puts off his correspondence until later.
She puts off breakfast until 9 a.m.
He puts off his vacation until summer.
They put off the picnic until the weekend.
He puts off his homework until evening.
She puts off her telephone calls until afternoon.
He puts off dinner until later.
They put off their trip until spring.
She puts off the party until Christmas. To put up is to place.
We put up the Christmas tree in the living room.
The travel agents put up posters in the agency.
She puts up pictures on the walls.
The consulate puts up notices on the bulletin board.
He puts up flags on the walls of his bedroom.
They put up Halloween decorations in the window.
The highway department puts up signs on the highway.
She puts up curtains in the window.
The post office puts up notices on the walls.
She puts up tapestries on the walls of the living room. To put on weight is to become fatter. I put on weight in the winter.
He puts on weight at his grandmother's house.
She puts on weight on her trips to Italy.
You put on weight on your vacation.
He puts on weight without exercise. I don't put on weight in the summer.
He doesn't put on weight at the gym.
She doesn't put on weight at home.
You don't put on weight at work.
He doesn't put on weight with exercise. To put an end to is to terminate.
The referee puts an end to the boxing match.
They put an end to the children's parties at 6 o'clock.
They put an end to soccer games after 90 minutes.
He puts an end to the fight.
The announcer puts an end to the program.
He puts an end to the tennis match.
They put an end to teenagers' parties at 11 o'clock.
They put an end to baseball games after 9 innings.
She puts an end to the discussion.
The master of ceremonies puts an end to the show. To know of is to recognize, but not to know personally.
I know of him.
She knows of the Prime Minister.
He knows of the Indians.
We know of the island.
I know of Jim.
He knows of her. I know of the President.
She knows of the Eskimos.
They know of the city.
She knows of Susan.
To go out is to leave.
He goes out on Saturday.
She goes out when she's bored.
She goes out frequently with her boyfriend.
They go out for lunch at 12 o'clock.
They go out for dinner on Sunday.
He doesn't go out from Monday to Friday.
She doesn't go out when she's sick.
She doesn't go out frequently with her family.
They don't go out for breakfast.
They don't go out for dinner on Saturday. To go to town is to be enthusiastic.
The band goes to town at dances.
The host goes to town at parties.
The designer goes to town at the boutique.
The cooks go to town at the buffet.
The interior decorator goes to town on the house.
The dancers go to town too.
The guests go to town too.
The customers go to town too.
The diners go to town too.
The housewife goes to town, too. To go wrong is to do things badly.
His work often goes wrong.
His ideas often go wrong.
His math problems frequently go wrong.
My plans frequently go wrong.
Her recipes often go wrong.
He's angry when his work goes wrong.
She's puzzled when her ideas go wrong.
He's frustrated when his math problems go wrong. I'm furious when my plans go wrong.
She's sad when her recipes go wrong.
To go on is to continue.
His radio goes on all night.
A hurricane goes on for 2 or 3 days.
Her TV goes on all night.
The sermon goes on for many minutes.
Her telephone calls go on for hours.
The music goes on for hours.
The storm goes on for a few hours.
The movie goes on for 2 hours.
His speech goes on for many minutes.
His monologues go on for hours. To go off is to fail or to stop.
The lights go off in a blackout.
The electricity goes off in a storm.
The radio goes off the air at midnight.
The TV goes off the air at 1 a.m.
The oven goes off automatically.
She's afraid when the lights go off.
He's worried when the electricity goes off.
They're asleep when the radio goes off.
He's awake when the TV goes off.
She's in the kitchen when the oven goes off. To go with is to harmonize.
Red goes with white.
Her blouse goes with her skirt.
His shoes go with his pants.
Her sweater goes with her blue jeans.
The armchair goes with the couch.
Red doesn't go with purple.
His tie doesn't go with his suit.
Her boots don't go with her jacket.
Her earrings don't go with her blouse.
The color of the walls doesn't go with the furniture. To go up to it is to approach.
He goes up to the window for tickets.
She goes up to the hot dog stand for a hot dog.
The child goes up to the street vendor for a balloon.
They go up to the machine for cigarettes.
He goes up to the cashier for his change.
He goes up to the concession stand for popcorn.
She goes up to the hamburger stand for a hamburger.
He goes up to the cart for an ice cream cone.
He goes up to the newsstand for a newspaper.
The waiter goes up to him for a tip. To go around is to circulate.
They go around the block for exercise.
He goes around to the back entrance.
She goes around to the side window.
They go around the truck to the car.
The policeman goes around the neighborhood at night.
He goes around the track for exercise.
We go around to the side door.
He goes around the restaurant to the parking lot.
They go around the parking lot to the exit.
The newspaper boy goes around the neighborhood in the morning. To go through is to examine.
The teacher goes through the exams after class.
She goes through the objects in the trunk.
He goes through his old magazines.
She goes through her recipe book.
You go through your bills.
The executive goes through the papers on his desk. I go through the things in the drawer.
He goes through the old newspapers.
She goes through the pictures in the album.
You go through your old receipts.
To go through channels is to do things legally or correctly.
He goes through channels at the immigration department.
They go through channels for a driver's license.
She goes through channels in customs.
They go through channels at the adoption agency.
You go through channels at the university.
He goes through channels at the tax bureau.
They go through channels for a passport.
He goes through channels at the consulate.
The lawyer goes through channels in court.
You go through channels at the job agency. To give away is to give as a present.
She gives away her old clothes.
He gives away his old magazines.
The child gives away his comic books. I give away the vegetables from my garden. I give away leftover food.
She doesn't give away her new clothes.
He doesn't give away his books.
He doesn't give away his toys.
I don't give away the apples from the tree. I don't give away leftover cake.
To give out is to distribute as a gift or free sample.
They give out brochures at the travel agency.
The soap factory gives out samples.
The saleswoman gives out pamphlets.
They give out coupons in the newspaper.
The usher gives out programs at the theater.
The travel agent gives out information.
They give out samples of ham at the supermarket.
They give out flyers in the street.
They give out leaflets at the supermarket.
The cashier gives out matches to the customers. To give up is to concede.
What's the answer?
I don't know. I give up.
The children are naughty and noisy. I give up.
The window is stuck. I give up. The problem is difficult. I give up. The chess game is difficult. I give up.
Where's the chalk?
I don't know. I give up. The dog is in the way. I give up.
The drawer is stuck. I give up. I don't know the lesson. I give up.
My tennis opponent is a good player. I give up. To have to is to have an obligation. I'm sick. I have to go to the doctor.
He's tired. He has to go to bed.
She's asleep. We have to be quiet.
He's a salesman. He has to go to many houses.
The room is messy. They have to put away their toys. I have a toothache. I have to go to the dentist.
She's hungry. She has to eat.
He's busy. We have to be helpful.
She's a student. She has to go to school.
The clothes are dirty. We have to go to the laundry. To have time off is to have free time. I don't have to work on Saturday. I have time off on Saturday.
He's on vacation. He has time off.
She has time off for coffee at 10 o'clock.
A housewife has time off in the afternoon.
A soccer player has time off in the middle of the game. They have time off on Sunday.
It's summer. The teacher has time off.
He has time off for lunch at noon.
A pilot has time off after every flight.
A football player has time off in the middle of the game. To have charge of is to manage or to administer.
He's the director. He has charge of the company.
The president has charge of the country.
The secretary has charge of the correspondence.
A lifeguard has charge of the swimmers.
A detective has charge of investigations.
He's the manager. He has charge of the office.
The governor has charge of the state.
The treasurer has charge of the money.
A scoutmaster has charge of a group of Boy Scouts.
A lawyer has charge of the defense. To have on is to wear.
I have on a flowered dress.
She has on a blue and white checkered blouse.
This baby has on a diaper.
I have on a pair of blue jeans.
He has on a baseball uniform.
He has on striped pants.
He has on a pink and white striped shirt.
This baby has on a sleeper. I have on a denim jacket.
She has on a Girl Scout uniform.
To have to do with is to concern.
Astronomy has to do with the stars and the planets.
Zoology has to do with animals.
Geography has to do with countries.
Geometry has to do with figures.
Anthropology has to do with tribes and customs.
Astrology has to do with horoscopes.
Botany has to do with flowers and plants.
Geology has to do with rocks.
Chemistry has to do with formulas.
Psychology has to do with the mind. To take one's time is to be slow. He's a slow worker. He takes his time.
I take my time in the kitchen.
She takes her time with the sewing.
He takes his time with the newspaper.
You take your time in the garage. She's a slow ironer. She takes her time.
You take your time in the shower.
She takes her time with the knitting.
She takes her time with the story.
You take your time with the repairs. To take out is to remove or to invite out.
She takes the garbage out every day.
She takes the cake out of the oven after 40 minutes.
He takes the jack and a spare tire out of the trunk.
He takes his wife out once a week.
He takes his girlfriend out twice a week.
They take their sports equipment out before summer.
She takes the ice cream out of the freezer after dinner.
He takes the old oil out of the car every 3 months.
He takes the whole family out every Sunday.
He takes the secretary out to lunch every other day. To take part in is to participate. She takes part in many activities.
They take part in school plays.
I take part in decisions.
He takes part in debates.
You take part in a baseball game. He takes part in social events.
They take part in the parade.
He takes part in the management.
You take part in the discussion.
You take part in the swimming meet. To take place is to occur.
Weddings take place in churches.
Soccer games take place in stadiums.
The story takes place in New York.
Elections take place every 4 years.
The Olympic Games take place every 4 years.
Graduation takes place once a year.
Baseball games take place on a baseball diamond.
The movie takes place in Moscow.
The inauguration takes place every 4 years.
The World Soccer Championship takes place every 4 years. To take a seat is to sit down.
He takes a seat in the first row.
She takes a seat in the back of the auditorium.
You take a seat in the front of the car.
They take their seats after the goal.
He takes a seat before class.
She takes a seat in the last row.
He takes a seat in the front of the auditorium.
You take a seat in the back of the car.
They take their seats after the national anthem.
He takes a seat in the middle of the classroom. To take turns is to alternate.
They take turns on the swing.
My sister and I take turns with the dishes.
She and her mother take turns with the housework.
The players take turns at the bat.
You and I take turns in the card game.
They take turns on the slide.
We take turns with the dusting.
They take turns with the cooking.
They take turns with the ball.
We take turns in the dart game. To take care of is to look after.
A babysitter takes care of children.
She takes care of her plants.
He takes care of his car.
A housewife takes care of the house.
She takes care of her hair.
Nurses take care of patients.
A gardener takes care of the garden.
An attendant takes care of a gas station.
A secretary takes care of the office.
She takes care of her fingernails. To take apart is to disassemble.
He takes his toys apart.
A technician takes TV sets apart.
A mechanic takes cars apart.
A jeweler takes watches apart.
An electrician takes wiring apart.
She takes her dolls apart.
A repairman takes appliances apart.
The inspector takes the work apart.
He takes his camera apart.
A plumber takes water pipes apart. To take off is to leave or go.
The plane takes off from the runway.
The horse takes off at the starting gate.
The rabbit takes off in the field.
They take off on the weekend.
He takes off when the weather is good.
The helicopter takes off from the rooftop.
The cars take off at the starting gate.
The dog takes off after the rabbits.
She takes off in the afternoon.
She takes off when there is snow. To take for a ride is to travel for fun.
He takes his family for a ride every Sunday.
I take her for a train ride once a year.
He takes her for a ride on his motorcycle.
He takes her for a ride in his canoe. I take him for a ride on the roller coaster. She takes him for a bus ride every day.
I take him for a plane ride once a year.
She takes her friend for a ride on her bicycle.
She takes him for a ride in a rowboat.
I take her for a ride on the Ferris wheel. To get off is to leave a form of transportation or a ride, or to remove oneself.
I get off the minibus on the corner.
She gets off the elevator on the 4th floor.
He is content when he gets off the Ferris wheel.
You get off your motorcycle after a ride in the street.
The cat gets off the sofa when the dog gets on.
She gets off the trolley downtown.
He gets off the escalator on the 3rd floor.
She's sick when she gets off the roller coaster.
You get off your bicycle after a ride on the sidewalk.
The baby gets off his mother's lap when he goes crawling. To get over is to recuperate, physically or emotionally.
You get over a cold in 2 weeks.
A person gets over a broken arm in 6 weeks.
It takes a few days to get over the measles.
She gets over a cough in 1 week.
It takes him a long time to get over a friend's death.
You get over a headache with aspirin.
A person gets over appendicitis with an operation.
It takes 2 weeks to get over the mumps.
He gets over a stomachache in 1 day.
It takes her a short time to get over a friend's departure. To get rid of is to remove or to exterminate.
A cat gets rid of mice.
You get rid of mosquitoes with a sprayer.
I get rid of unwelcome guests early.
She gets rid of the trash in the morning.
She gets rid of her old hats.
An exterminator gets rid of insects.
He gets rid of the rabbits in his vegetable garden.
The restaurant gets rid of its customers at 10 p.m.
She gets rid of the papers on her desk in the afternoon.
He gets rid of his old ties. To get up is to arise or to stand.
She gets up at 6 p.m.
Farmers get up early.
He gets up when there's a lady in the room.
She gets up to shake hands. I get up to pay the bill. He gets up at 7 a.m.
Singers get up late.
He gets up to give her his seat.
He gets up to give them a hug.
You get up to put on your coat. To get back is to return.
They go to school at 8 o'clock. They get back home at 3:30.
They go to the country on the weekend. They get back to town on Sunday evening. I go on vacation every June. I get back in July.
He goes on a camping trip every 3 months. He gets back in 3 days.
He goes to the swimming pool every day in the summer. He gets back in 3 hours. She goes to a cafeteria for lunch. She gets back to work after lunch.
He goes out every afternoon. He gets back here at 6 p.m.
You go to the beach every winter. You get back in the spring.
She goes on a skiing trip every month. She gets back in 3 days.
She goes to the beauty salon every Friday. She gets back in 2 hours. To get away is to leave for a time.
We get away on the weekend.
He gets away for a hunting trip in October.
She gets away from the children for a few hours.
The executive gets away from the city often.
He gets away from the burning building.
He gets away once a year.
He gets away for a fishing trip in July.
He gets away from the office for 2 hours.
The farmer gets away from the farm frequently.
He gets away from the falling bricks. To get along with is to have a relationship with.
He gets along well with his sister.
She gets along well with her husband.
He gets along well with his friends.
She gets along well with the other secretary.
Some dogs get along well with cats.
He doesn't get along well with his mother-in-law.
She doesn't get along well with her sister-in-law.
He doesn't get along well with his parents.
She doesn't get along well with her boss.
Some dogs don't get along well with cats. To get lost is to lose one's way. I get lost in a strange city.
He gets lost in the woods.
Children get lost frequently. I get lost in strange streets.
He gets lost in a big department store.
You get lost in a foreign country.
She gets lost in the jungle.
She gets lost when she's alone.
He gets lost on the highway.
The child gets lost in the market. To get in touch with is to contact. I get in touch with them by telephone.
He gets in touch with the bank by telex.
She gets in touch with him by mail.
I get in touch with her on her birthday.
She gets in touch with me when she's lonely. In an emergency, she gets in touch with us by telephone.
He gets in touch with the soldiers by walkie-talkie.
He gets in touch with the other people by radio.
I get in touch with them on Christmas Day. I get in touch with her when I'm not busy.
To keep off is to stay away from.
They have to keep off the grass.
Deep snow keeps cars off the highway.
She keeps them off the rug when they have their shoes on.
The fans have to keep off the soccer field.
He keeps off the streets at night.
We have to keep off the grounds of the mansion.
The rain keeps people off the streets.
She keeps them off the floor when she mops.
People have to keep off the tennis court.
She keeps off the unexplored paths. To keep away from is to avoid.
They keep away from sick people.
Policemen keep people away from disaster areas.
She keeps away from dark areas at night.
He's claustrophobic. He keeps away from elevators.
He's afraid of heights. He keeps away from mountains.
He keeps away from the gossips.
Firemen keep people away from the fires.
He keeps away from dangerous places.
He doesn't know how to swim. He keeps away from the water.
She's shy. She keeps away from people.